Okay, welcome back to day number 6. Work home gym workout routine with talk. Today is experience edition or school edition. So yeah, school, and then I might touch on the army a little bit. So okay, I wasn't in the army. I was never in the army in Trinidad Tobago. But I know about it, and I know about the cadets. So when I refer to army, he referring to I referring to the cadets in secondary school like that, So I remember the cadets. I remember seeing the cadets. I wasn't actually in the cadets, and the reason for that is because secondary school very strict. At least the school that I went to, it was very strict. Well, it depends on the student. Like, my family was strict. And the secondary school I went to was strict. It was strict, except for a few students a few misbehaviors. But otherwise, I went to a strict secondary school, and I had high expectations, and my family was strict. So a strict school and strict family, I just wasn't actually in the cadets. Even though I wanted to be in the cadets, I wasn't actually in the cadets. I was more dealing with family and dealing in secondary school. Even though I do regret not going in the cadets, because that would be the perfect way to get away from family. But at that time, a family had real expectations, or had real expectations in education, or in achievements and performance. So bringing something. But to me, I talk about the cadets. I was expecting to be a cadet in high school, but nonetheless, I was in a Caribbean secondary school. So when I was looking at the army, okay, so this one is army edition. Well, it's a combination of army and school. So army reserves and school. So when I was looking at the regular enlisted in the army, I think I was 17 or something, form 5 in my GCSE O level, GCSE O levels. So we call that CSEC in the Caribbean. When I was looking at regular enlisted to probably go US, I thought that was just the best way to go, USA or England or something, but mainly USA. At that time, my family was not supportive at all in letting me do what I want to do and reach where I had to reach, because I know with my O levels and my A levels, I would have reached to probably, I don't know, West Point or something, or what is the other one? Sergeant Major School or flight school, So I see they do go to US Army, US Academy, but anyway, and I know I would have get through with that with how well I perform in school. But they didn't see it like that. They didn't see my performance in CXC, in O levels and A levels. They didn't see my performance like that in like Trinidad Regiment sense, in like in like a US Academy sense, you know. So it was strange. Maybe I didn't understand at the time. Like, I still don't understand, because I was real good with just international studies at the US Academy, and well, just coming back home, and you know, but they just say how like families do entertain that at all, because you might reach like a captain. You might reach like a captain in the regiment, and like, you know, so they just do like, I don't know, they just something about it real weird, like they do come back with that. But I was like so stupid at the time for listening, and plus they didn't support me at all in getting into the regiment. But anyway, enough about that. So about like, no, I used to look at my CXC certificates and be like, oh my fucking god, like I literally have Caribbean diploma, like a Caribbean certificates, like a Caribbean diploma, and it was just a hot mess, you know. I used to see it like the fucking army. Like, I still up to this day see it as the army, because I went to university. So when I was looking at the Trinidad Regiment, and I like, my family does like, they don't remember at all me mentioning the army, like the Trinidad Regiment. Like when I like used to mention it and talk about it, I remember like looking at what it is called again. It's like the US. So it had like US Marines. It had looking at like SEAL stuff, and like CPO and thing, or I have a next one. I can't remember the name. And yeah, so I used to look at that in A levels, CPO, and I'd have a next one that's like naval. I'd have a next one, I can't remember, like enlisted, NCO, stuff like that. But so I looked at the regiment in Form 5 in O levels, and then I went to do and the cadets, and then I went to do A levels. So I write A levels, and I get a scholarship, and I get a scholarship so I write A levels. I get 10 subjects. To be honest, I kind of understand a little more I understand more of where my family coming from now, because I did get a distinction in I have a distinction in pure maths. So like, yeah, it's okay. So like from A levels, I get a distinction in pure mathematics in the unit 2, and I get a distinction in physics. So I got a scholarship to go and study medicine, and I went to medical school. So this is the story of how I dropped out of medicine, how I dropped out of medical school, dropped out of medicine, and why I left being a family doctor. Well, I wasn't actually a family doctor, but I was in medicine. I was in MBBS medicine, and this is the story of how I left medicine. well, I shouldn't say medicine, I should say left medical school. Why I left medical school and left becoming a physician and became a technical vocational tutor, or like the owner of the institute. The owner of the institute might be yeah. So I own an online school with teaching technical vocational, basically teaching mathematics, basically tutoring, like is creating tutoring material for mathematics, offshore engineering and Arabic. So because even the strange thing I find that even when I was in A levels, I would look at CPU, I would look at chief petty officer or something, or I would look at non-commissioned officer, and in A levels I would look at that. And then when I went to UE, boy, I live in some real hellhole. I live in some good shithole. So I know, I live in an apartment up in the mountains near the med school, in the back of a old remnant of an army camp or something, or just in the back of a ghetto. I was in a piece of a forested area, a jungle, heavily forested, well, not heavily but thick forested area, in this old wooden rasta shack. And it was full of cockroaches, but I exterminated all of them cockroach because I wanted a good place to be able to do what I want in university. And I wanted to live on my own. I wanted to be able to smoke cigarettes, side eye. So I was looking for a rasta shack to just be hidden all up in my own. I would just attend and thing. So I live in some real hellhole. So when I talk about the army, I talking about the shitholes I look for and that I live in. So it was a good experience. But the reason why I ended up leaving is strangely I found that even when I went to UE, that never changed. Maybe I didn't look at CPO, Chief Petty Officer, as much. Again, I look at commissioned officer more, or I look at reserves more. I look at commissioned officer more, but the strange thing is that in UE I still look at the army, and the reason, it have a specific reason for that. The reason is because I have Caribbean certificates. So I look at my fucking CXC certificates as Caribbean certificates, or I look at my fucking UE certificate as the fucking army. So but after I dropped out of medical school, I left becoming a physician. I left medicine and became an online instructor of online courses of mathematics. So if they mean in my potential in that sense, then I do agree with them with terms of with my potential and tapping into. Okay, thanks for watching.